Goodness. All right, 1 minute. We'll get this show on the road. All right, 1 o'clock. Welcome everyone. 3 steps to boost MD referral webinar. My name's Randy Alexander. I'm the co-founder, along with Dr. Cecil Walker, of Chiro One Services. Many of you know Dr. Walker and Chiro One Source, which is, he started that business 20 years ago and provides all of the supplies you might need, from equipment to literally face paper for your practice. But over the last 3 years, he and I, my background is business consulting, he and I recognized that oftentimes you really need some assistance, some partners, some advice regarding your business and the practice. And so what we've done over the last over 2 years now is seek out partners that fit 2 criteria. One is they need to have a great business solution that oftentimes would bring you value. And then secondly, and equally important, it needs to be made, that business needs to be made up of great people. Fortunate today to have Dr. Stephen Weiniger with us. And I can assure you that his business and his team fit both those criteria. I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with him and his team over the last 3 years, and they are number one. For those of you that do not know Dr. Weiniger, he's a managing partner of BodyZone LLC. He's also the author of Stand Taller, Live Longer. He's been on numerous media outlets, ABC, Oprah, several others. But again, I think what's really important is he has some really valuable information to share with us today. And with that, Dr. Weiniger, I'll turn it over to you.
Randy, thank you very much for inviting me, and I appreciate your help in getting these ideas out to the chiropractic profession about positioning themselves as being the posture expert. The path that we've been working on for a past decade is positioning chiropractors as being the posture expert and promoting posture as being important. And one of the things that's happening now is an increasing awareness from many medical people about, of all things, posture, and using posture as a way to both build your credibility as a clinician for an MD's patients, ways to communicate about where you fit into the scheme of things from their algorithm of what to do with a patient, and how to position yourself with posture is what we're going to be talking about. If you have any questions, please ask them. If you'd like to ask a question, type it in. If you'd like to raise your hand and ask something verbally, I cannot promise you, but at the end, if we have time, I'll be happy to answer some fast questions. We're talking about ideas that come from some of the CPEP program that we teach. And one of the ideas we talk about is creating concentric circles of influence for posture practice as a path to get from where you are now to where you want to be, beginning with staff awareness and managing the staff from a implementation point of view to implement something with patients, and then branding that within the community. And marketing interprofessionally to MDs falls under that third rubric of working out into the wider world. And one of the ideas that we talk about strongly is building the idea that strong posture exercise is an intelligent life habit to move, feel, be well, and building the brand of CPEP for credibility, as we've been doing for the past 5 years. Okay, ideas, research. This is some things going on right now. Last November 2013, in the European Spine Journal, which is a very prestigious spine journal, an article came out looking at clinicians, the PCPs, the doc in the street, so to speak, views on why do people have acute low back pain? Sudden onset, patient wasn't hurting, pain started to hurt. Why did that pain occur? This is from the doc's point of view. 89% of primary care physicians consider biomechanical risk factors like posture to be the single most important short-term trigger for sudden onset low back pain. That's a direct quote. Everybody knows that posture causes low back pain. And that's why posture is such a great way to communicate in a way that has credibility. We started this talking about credibility. I want to make some observations about credibility to begin with. There's different kinds of credibility that people have. There's attributed and personal knowledge. If someone that I know says something or I've heard something, that's a level of credibility. If I read a study that says it, that's a higher level of credibility. And you optimally want both, but those are both attributed credibilities. There's also personal knowledge. If I say I've seen this or I believe this, my personal knowledge belief is going to generally trump attributed because, heck, I've seen it. I know this to be true. I've heard what you're saying, but I know this is true. And when you're talking about communicating, especially to an audience that you ultimately want a medical doctor to be referring to you for multiple reasons, you need to look at it from their point of view. And the more congruence that message has with truth, the greater power you're going to have to getting from an attributed to a personal knowledge. If you go to a medical doctor and you say, come to me because I can help you with all kinds of problems and send all your patients to me because I can help everybody with all kinds of problems, you're going to find that your response is going to be less than overwhelming, and that's being optimistic. You need to have it where that communication to the medical doctor is tightly targeted to both their attributed and personal credibility indexes. In other words, where they believe truth lies. And the fact that it's absolutely true or not true is less relevant than their belief about where truth lies. And of course, you want it to be congruent with absolute truth as well. And that's why posture is such a strong vehicle. Once upon a time, back in the 30s, the US government came out with a program to promote the idea that you should be brushing your teeth. The problem was that huge amounts of recruits into the armed services had literally their teeth rotting out of their head because of drinking the newly sweetened acidic drinks on the market like Coca-Cola. I live in Atlanta. Thank you very much, Coca-Cola. But it has not been good for people's teeth. It's been great for the dental profession. The message we put out for the 2010s, do your posture exercises. Did you do them today? And promoting that is a way to communicate an idea that fits with where medical doctors are in terms of a problem that they have, which is low back pain. I'm going to share some quotes from a letter from a neurologist that I've become friendly with. He's a neurosurgeon in Atlanta Neurosurgical, and he wrote me a letter when I said to share some ideas about the things that we teach. And these are his words. And he wrote that the importance of proper posture has been downplayed over the last generation, and I think that's a big mistake. And when I talk about Dr. Kajavi, he's a brilliant guy. He's a neurosurgeon. He's not someone that does back pain relief. He's the guy with the knife. Coincidentally, this came out in the Spine Journal. I'm sorry, in the European Spine Journal. Came out, I believe, in May. It came out in March 2014. And he did a 2-year study of different kinds of psoas resections for scoliosis with surgery. Dr. Kajavi is a surgeon. Surgeons want to be doing surgery. Surgeons do not want to be seeing an acute low back pain. Nobody in the medical world really wants to be seeing an acute low back pain because nobody has a really good handle on what to do with it, especially when you consider studies talking about the prevalence of chronic low back pain has been going up and that the amount of dollars being spent of it has been going up, and that this is something that's a huge problem that is getting worse. As boomers age, we're living in more and more of a sedentary society where people are hunched over laptops and smartphones. This problem is not getting better. And this is one reason why, from Dr. Kajavi's point of view, chiropractors and medical doctors need to work together in co-managing patients to reduce overall costs. Because everybody knows that back pain is a problem. It costs an arm and a leg, and patients are not happy. And that when somebody has a back problem, the largest indicator that someone's going to have a future back problem is if they've had back problems in the past. This is what all the insurance companies know and what all the people that look at the epidemiology of back pain know. And that from his point of view, chiros and medical doctors working together can greatly improve customer service as well as patient care. And after reading Stand Tall, Live Longer, he said that we have some great ideas on how to improve that. The idea is not come to the chiropractor 3 times a week for the rest of your life. That's not going to fly. The idea is that posture is important. And as a credible way to communicate and position yourself, this is of huge importance because back pain is a big issue. But in addition to being important for back pain is important to move well. The lack of back pain is, of course, important to move well. But posture, subtle differences in posture is important to move well as to age well. And this creates a huge, huge potential for the chiropractic profession and for the DC that has a practice that targets communicating a posture framework to local professionals as well as to patients as well as to the community. And that question and that positioning is that getting adjusted is a smart thing to do. It's what intelligent people do that want to keep their bodies moving well as they age. And this is something that, when you think about it, chiropractors push chiropractic in the world. Nobody else pushes chiropractic in the world. A massage therapist pushes massage, and that's a good thing. And other people also push massage. You need to have, if you want to have other people pushing you, a tightly defined focus for what you're having them do and a way for people to help themselves. You need to be empowering people. And we begin posture practice concepts with promoting the idea of, have you had your annual posture picture? If posture is important, you should be benchmarking what it looks like today. And posture is important both for back pain and how you age. And having an annual assessment, just benchmarking it from an observational point of view, not a pathologizing point of view, not we're going to measure it and see how many times we need to see you in the next 6 months and here's a $10,000 contract. But this is your body. Know what it looks like in 2014. Take a picture in a standardized way and compare it to what it looked like today to what it looked like last year. Oh, you didn't take a picture last year? Well, next year come back and we'll do another picture of you. Or here's how you can take your own picture. Empowering people to take a posture picture and communicating the idea that posture can cause problems with back pain, neck pain, stiff joints, headaches, and arthritis opens up the possibility of communicating posture as something that can be actionably affected to be improved by addressing the 3 elements of posture that we talk about, which are balance, alignment, and motion. And when you look at, again, the same study from European Spine Journal, over half of the primary care physicians believe that biomechanics is a long-term trigger for sudden episodes of acute low back pain. In other words, not something moved wrong today, but your biomechanics has been poor for years and years, and it's been totally fine, no problem whatsoever, until you have a straw breaking the camel's back or the patient's back. And suddenly, they have an acute episode of low back pain. This opens up the possibility for chiropractors being the ones addressing it, not just from the acute care point of view, but on helping people to help themselves manage and take care of and strengthen their posture. And this is what we talk about with what we call the posture practice model, focusing on posture in a way that targets both attributed and general knowledge, promoting the idea of taking posture pictures, not just come to me and that becomes a reason why I need to see you, but taking an observational picture to see what you look like on an annual basis as well as clinically, coming in as a patient at the beginning of care and then at the transition from acute to rehab and from rehab to wellness, and giving you something actionable to do about it. We teach focus, motion, strong posture exercises along those three elements of posture. And if you're going to be working with medical doctors, you need to be communicating, documenting internally what you did, and giving them a report of what they looked like, what the patient looked like initially, and the follow-up. We're not going to go into this in detail today, but if this is news to you, you need to be looking into it strongly. If a medical doctor or another physician sends you a patient, you need to send them a letter back saying, thank you very much for the kind referral of your patient. They're a lovely person. Hopefully they are. And here's what I saw. Here's what I think. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll let you know what happens. He's going to put that into his file. He needs this to close, or she needs this to close their loop. Otherwise, you're a black hole from their file point of view. If there's not a loop that's closed, then from their point of view, they're sending them to you. They may be helped, they may not be helped, but from his file's point of view, he can't document what happens. You want to help him document how wonderful you are at helping his patients take care of themselves, showing that you're empowering them and that you took care of their problems. This is one reason why having a systematic way of addressing it, as we do with the strong posture exercises, giving the patient one exercise at a time and progressively building it. Those handouts can be also documentation to the medical doctor of updating of, now we've taught the patient this, and the medical doctor sees this, and it's like more detail than they usually get. You want to give somebody more information in a way to build the credibility, because all the words on the forms talking about the goals, the purpose, it's not just doing the exercise, it's why you're doing the exercise. And I'm not going to go into the detail of it here, but the overall idea of all the strong posture exercises, which come from Stantola Longa and the handouts, they're congruent, they're made to work together, is to focus attention to reprogram sensory motor errors, to correct the difference between how I'm moving compared to how I think I'm moving. We call that a sensory motor error. And the way to do that is to focus on one posture zone at a time. Posture zones are the parts of the body that are balancing your posture. Your head balances on your torso, on your pelvis, over where you're standing. And focusing on one region at a time and having the other ones fixed is the key to systematically retrain the control of the alignment and motion. And that's basically what we talk about and what is the strong posture protocols. Making somebody aware of where their body is and how to strengthen it. Now, you can do other exercises, other ways to do it, but no matter how you do it, you need to communicate to a medical doctor in a way that builds credibility, that's systematic, and you have to give them documentation. I'm going to go back one slide and underline the reports. You need to give them an initial report of status and a follow-up report to say how the person is doing. And you need to, when it's appropriate, send the person back to them so that the patient knows that the initial doctor is the one that helped them because they were told to see you by that initial doctor. If you want to be part of a team, you need to be empowering other members of the team. The idea of empowering others to be empowered yourself goes up and down within a interdependent social structure. So just like you want to empower your patients to be empowered in order for them to look at you as, hey, this doc is great, they're empowering me. You want to also be empowering positively the doc that sends people to you. The first time they send a patient to you, it'll be a test on his part. You want to be aware of that and blow out the doors in terms of giving him the experience from his point of view or her point of view, that the doc that they sent them to, that's you, is an amazing doc that takes great care of their patient by helping their patient to best manage their own problem. Because from the doc's point of view, they know posture is part of the problem. People need to do something about it, but you can't just think about it. You need to do something about it to retrain it. And that's the idea of the strong posture exercises, doing it in a way that's systematic and tying it into a nice, neat box. Briefly, the strong posture exercises start by focusing on the first element of posture balance, creating focused awareness of strong posture with balance, then focusing that strong balance with alignment with focused pelvic tilt, and then progressing that to how you're moving it using a ball as a focus of attention in 3 dimensions, and then systematically going from one to another posture zone and tying it into a cohesive, what we call BAM 3-2-1. Mr. Smith, 3 times a day I want you to do a balance exercise, twice a day I want you to do an alignment exercise, once a day do a motion exercise, maybe 10 minutes altogether. It's not 10 minutes in one clip, it's an awareness of posture. And combining the posture picture awareness with exercises, you're making them pay attention to reality. Great study came out in manual therapy talking about the differences between internal and external focuses of attention with exercise. And it basically supports all the things we've talked about with the strong posture exercises, which is that there are statistically significant improvements in motor performance that's directly attributable to a group having an external focus of attention, that's EFA. Internal focus of attention did not have that. In other words, I'm just going to try to stand straighter, I'm just going to try to move differently, did not work. When you systematically connected them with something external, making them pay attention to reality, you were then able to effectively reprogram reality, which is why things like Dr. Kajavi's comment that by having good posture and paying attention to the instructions in your book, patients can eliminate or at least minimize the episodes of pain they develop. It also encourages patients to take an active role in their own care, which is so important. That last paragraph is huge because if you're familiar with what's happening in back pain management, there's a huge trend towards biopsychosocial or BPS. Biopsychosocial is how much can be affected from a psych point of view because expectations in psych have been demonstrated to play a huge role in back pain. But it's not only that, it interacts with everything else. The more you get patients to take an active role in a way that is actionable and real from their point of view, the better they do. And this is why, from his point of view, if you go to Atlanta Neurosurgery in Atlanta, Georgia, and you go to the checkout desk where the people are checking out, and he wants to be doing surgery, but if it's not a surgical case, and many of them aren't, and you go to his office on the checkout desk, you'll see a copy of Stand Tall, Live Longer with information on ordering it from Amazon.com. This is from his point of view. Many chiros, most CPAPs are selling Stand Tall, Live Longer in their office, and that makes sense. But for neuro, he doesn't want to sell it. He just wants to say, you go buy it. If you don't need surgery, you need to be doing this. And that's what I want you to start doing. I want you to start asking, did you do your strong posture exercises today? If you're on this webinar, we'll be sending you a copy of this PDF sign. It's as part of this month's Posture Practice newsletter. If you don't want the newsletter, feel free to unsubscribe. But if you want it, we'll send you a copy of a new folder of a new PDF form every month, as well as other concepts, ideas from Stand Tall, Live Longer to educate people, as well as some reminders about strong posture exercise and reminders about training posture awareness, posture consciousness, using things like those exercises and PostureZone pictures. And these 3 elements of concepts, consciousness, and control are what we use to what we call train the posture expert. That's who you should be. And this 3D model of connecting consciousness, concepts, and control is what CPAP is about. Creating strong posture in motion from assessment to treatment to education, using the concepts from Stand Tall, Live Longer to create an individualized posture exercise program for the individual to strengthen their weak link in their chain for best performance and to prevent pain and wear and tear and breakdown. And one of the things that we talk about is with training coordinated neuromusculoskeletal function for best performance, optimal performance, to balance pain-free and avoid pain. And using a common language of biomechanics to tie it all together from a conceptual point of view. 5 words tied to 5 handouts and posters and ideas and sentences what we call 5 posture principles: motion, balance, patterns, compensation, and adaptation, that makes sense to anybody, especially a biomechanic MD or a trainer or a therapist or anybody looking at motion. And building awareness using the PostureZone model, which again is observational. It's not a model of you're 2 degrees off, so you need to come in for 20 visits or some nonsense, but to benchmark systematically where your body is, how your body is balancing head over torso over pelvis by marking the posture zones and then checking the alignment and deviation from left and right over where the body is standing, or in the side view from front and back over where the body is standing, and getting an observational benchmark. PostureZone is a free app. You can download it from the Apple iStore. The Android version is under construction. We hope to have it ready by the end of the year. The professional version of it does let you do other functions, including syncing it to your computer and emailing it out. It's a $10 one-time forever all your devices. And yes, it does work on an iPad, but you need to download it as an iPhone app because it's a universal app. But basically, all these 3 legs of building posture practice, consciousness, concepts, and control, are designed to go from attributed and general knowledge to personal knowledge that body care is important, posture is important, correlating with the science that the key to moving well as you age is strengthening the core, training the core for strong balance, strong alignment, and motion. And those core muscles are what we're strengthening specifically with strong posture exercises. And communicating this benefit to staff, patients, and other professionals to communicate them on how to educate other people. And that's one of the takeaways that I'd like you to consider. Give your local medical doctor a copy of Stand Tall, Live Longer. Tell him that you're teaching strong posture exercises. Give him a poster to give to people if they're having problems with back pain, so that he can tell his people, Mr. Smith, you're having back pain, you should be doing these posture exercises. If that doesn't work, maybe you should see a posture expert. That's you. And using this as a strategy to go from staff management and patients and community branding locally to what we do with CPAP, building this on a social level, branding and defining strong posture as an intelligent life habit to move, feel, and be well. And coming up to the last thing that Dr. Gajavi said was, and this is great from my point of view because I took it as high compliment, coming from the guy that does papers in Spine magazine about surgery. I think anybody with any kind of back pain should be reading this book. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. There's some other things we're going to tap in a minute. But before we wrap up, are there any questions?
Well, Dr. Weiniger, you've provided a lot of great information. And as I sit back, and I'm not a chiropractor, but if I put myself in one's place, is there a path that you could outline or you could help me with in terms of how would you recommend I get started with this? Do I read the book? Do I call you guys? How do I become that expert in kind of a step-by-step process?
Well, that step-by-step process is what CPAP is. Give us a call, drop us an email. We'll go to PosturePractice.com. You can download it. You can look around. But generally, give us a call because CPAP is designed to plug posture into a lot of different practices with a lot of different tools for it. Tools like this poster that, because of Chiro One source support and telling folks what we're doing, we're going to be giving this. This is a hard copy poster. It's a paper, real paper. It'll come in a tube. You need to drop me an email. You need to drop me an email by the end of this week. If you're hearing this on a recording, then this is already expired. But drop me an email. My email is drw@bodyzone.com. And you can put this up in the office or give it to a local medical doctor if he'll put it up in his office. If someone just wants to read Stand Tall, Live Longer, this week, if you buy one, we'll give you one free. But you got to mention Chiro One, and that's a way to dip your toes in. The book is $22.95, and again, we'll give you an extra one for free, as well as we'll give you one of the tools that CPAPs use, which is the prescription pad. And if you look at the prescription pad, it's a reading guide that goes along with Stand Tall, Live Longer, broken into two pieces, posture exercises and understanding posture, and looking at the posture exercises as well as concepts to communicate different things to a patient. So if a person is on therapy, Mr. Smith, I want you to read this or that. It's where you can guide and direct their reading, which is what CPAPs do. If you have an interest in CPAP is best way to get started is starting the 15-hour online course. It's good for CE in most states. We also, part of CPAP is at least one 12-hour seminar. Go to PosturePractice.com to see some of our upcoming dates. CPAP enrollment includes the tools, the handouts, the live seminars, the rehab box, marketing tools, wall grids, door grids, listings in the apps, forms. PosturePractice.com's got a bunch of information about that. Well, give us a call. And you asked me to give your people an offer for the July special. We're going to be giving them $150 off and some tools that they can get from you as well, because bowls, save trainers, bands, what you guys do, and we appreciate you helping us to tell people how they can use these tools to move well. So mention that and that's the goal.
And that special, they can call Chiro One Source, or they can contact your organization directly, correct?
Either one works. We'll be happy to help them. If they just want to dip their toe in, read Stantola. If they just want to get a poster and put it up and see what people say, they do that as well. If they want to just put up the digital posture exercise today sign, that's fine too. But when they're serious about positioning themselves as being a posture expert, CPAP is a systematic way to get you and your team up to speed. Things like 15 weeks to a posture practice, a weekly 10-minute videos to play with your team during staff meeting, to have one focus on one exercise, one concept, and systematically build your posture practice.
Gotcha. Great. Excellent. That's anything else that we didn't cover that you had hoped to?
I've got a couple of questions that I see some people have asked.
Right, okay.
You don't need to be a chiropractor to be a CPAP. In fact, a lot of practices have the massage therapist or a trained CA or trainer being the CPAP in the office. We do suggest that the doctor as well as the staff be certified because it's a real test. I mean, it's not like just reading go through. Part of CPAP certification is a do and cue testing that becomes a hands-on coaching as much as anything else. Our goal is getting everybody doing it the same way because it's so tightly protocol. People feel it when they're doing it right, and when you work on your body or someone else's body, you can learn a lot by doing it hands-on that you're not going to get in a video-only environment. But with that, Randy, thank you very much for having us. And everybody, if you have any questions, drop me an email, drw@bodizone.com if we can help, or if you'd like that poster. Hope you enjoyed it.
Very good. Thanks, Dr. Weiniger. And thanks for everyone for attending. Have a great Thursday. And we will look forward to seeing you on our next webinar, which I think is in about 2 weeks on retail. So everyone have a great day. Thanks again.